Their 21-year-old son was killed, allegedly, at the hands of his best friend. The victim, Aaron Davis, had just recently graduated from Brigham Young University.
His family in Cumming says the only word that can describe how they feel is devastated.
So the total sentence is
a haunted house actor and a political science graduate, two childhood friends, a bond that seemed unbreakable, until one night in November 2022, when friendship turned into fatal betrayal. Before we begin, I would like you to subscribe to our channel and drop your valuable feedback in the comments. Brandon Christopher Risner and Aaron William Davis had been friends for years. They went to the same high school, the same church, and even attended the same college, Brigham Young University, Idaho. But while Davis pursued his degree in political science, Risner left after just one semester. Their paths diverged, but their friendship remained, or so it seemed. On the night of November 11, 2022, Aaron Davis stopped at Risner's house in Rome, Georgia, on his way to visit his girlfriend in Alabama. But he would never make it there. The next morning, November 12, 2022, a Toyota Prius was found abandoned in a ditch. It belonged to Aaron Davis. The car was empty, and his body was nowhere to be found. The detectives started to investigate the case and got to know about his close friend Brandon Risner. Brandon was contacted by the police and was asked about Aaron Davis. Brandon told the cops that Aaron was with him last night, and they both were drinking. He told the police that Aaron drank a little too much and told him to leave him alone. According to Brandon's statement, he went to sleep, and after waking up, he found out that Aaron's car was not there, assuming he might have left. To further conduct the investigation, police went to Brandon's house to follow up in person. Brandon repeated the same scenario he said on the call, and with a slight unconventional body language. The police then entered the house to look for further evidence. Investigators uncovered a horrifying scene: blood on the walls, a stained mattress, and a massive supply of cleaning products. This revelation made Brandon anxious, and he ran away from his own home. The police chased him but were unable to get hold of him. Luckily, a neighbor was on call with Brandon's father, Jeremy. The police told him about Brandon's escape and instructed Jeremy to come back to the house. After a few hours, Brandon came to the police station with his parents to surrender for the crimes he had committed. Brandon, Rachel, and Jeremy arrived at the police station. The officer directed Rachel and Jeremy to sit outside while he took Brandon to the back for questioning. The tension in the air was palpable as Brandon was escorted away, his demeanor unreadable. Before the interrogation could begin, the officer performed a routine search, asking Brandon if he had anything in his pockets. Brandon handed over his wallet and keys, but beyond that, he remained silent. With Brandon now secure, the detective sat him down, hoping to extract a confession or any critical information that could pave the way for conviction. The detective introduced himself and began with the standard legal formalities, informing Brandon of his rights. Without hesitation, Brandon requested a lawyer. He knew that anything said in that room could be used against him in court, so he chose to remain silent. His calculated decision left the detective frustrated, forcing him to turn his attention elsewhere in search of answers. While Brandon kept his lips sealed, his parents were far more willing to talk. Jeremy, in particular, had crucial information that could lead police to Aaron's body. He described an old cemetery, struggling to recall its exact name, but providing enough detail to give authorities a starting point. His cooperation was invaluable, but the detective knew this was also an opportunity to dig deeper into Brandon's mental state and personal life. Brandon had recently returned home from college, supposedly suffering from severe anxiety, intrusive thoughts, and visions. His parents had brought him back to adjust his medications and ensure his safety, but their version of events raised more questions than answers. They described receiving a call from Brandon earlier that morning, where he mentioned an incident upstairs and hinted at something being hidden in the carpet. As the hours passed, growing concerns led them to call Brandon again, only to be met with a chilling response. Aaron had run away. The revelation that Brandon had been diagnosed with obsessive-compulsive disorder as a child complicated matters further. His father claimed that people often misunderstood the condition unless they lived with it, suggesting that Brandon's actions might have been influenced by mental instability. However, detectives had to consider that this could be an attempt to build an insanity defense, and they approached these claims with caution. Despite the uncertainty surrounding Brandon's mental state, one fact was now clear. Authorities had a lead on Aaron's whereabouts. Officers mobilized quickly, heading to the cemetery described by Jeremy. The search was meticulous, but when they found the burial, Aaron's body was discovered in a secluded area at the back of the cemetery. Even more disturbing, he was wrapped in the very bed sheets he had slept in while at Brandon's house. The speculation was over. The evidence spoke for itself. Brandon Risner was a cold-blooded murderer. With the discovery of the body, Brandon was formally arrested for the murder of Aaron Davis and transported to a local prison. But even in custody, something about his behavior unsettled the officers. He remained eerily calm, unfazed by the gravity of the situation. While most criminals exhibited some level of fear, remorse, or even arrogance, Brandon was different. His expression barely changed, and he followed instructions without resistance, as if he had already accepted his fate. While the legal process was now in motion, the most heartbreaking part of the case was still to come: delivering the devastating news to Aaron's family. No words could prepare them for the pain of learning that their son had been brutally murdered. The grief was overwhelming, the questions endless. Why had this happened? What could have possibly led to such a senseless act? But there were no satisfying answers, only the cold reality of loss. Justice finally came inside the courtroom on July 18, 2024. Brandon had little to no defense for his crimes. His attempt to plead insanity was quickly dismissed, as the court found no substantial evidence to support it. With no other options left, the judge handed down the final sentence: life in prison without the possibility of parole. The case of Brandon Risner was closed, but for Aaron's family, the pain would never truly end. A bright young man with a promising future had been taken away in an act of pure malice. Though the legal system ensured Brandon would never walk free again, the scars left behind by his actions would remain forever. If you like this video, do make sure to subscribe to the channel and pressing the bell icon so you never miss any of our new videos. Thank you for watching.